UFC Fight Night, Prates versus Ian Garry. Andy and Jim here. Winning in the Shadows are going to break down all the fights. We have a 5% best bet that is up. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. It's actually a huge MMA card. I think this is just really, really bettable. I'm very, very excited about that. We've had some cards where it was like, tread lightly. I think we got some really good spots in this one. So before we get started, hit the like button, please. Really helps us out. Subscribe to the channel. We're only 5 subscribers away from the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel reaching it to 1,000, which is weird because we just passed 200,000 on Wager Talk. So, but build it slow. So
Get in there.
All right, Jim. Let's get into it here. We're going to start with Chelsea Chandler and Joselyne Edwards. Edwards' line is creeped up. She's the big favorite here. How do you see Chelsea Chandler and Joselyne Edwards going down?
This is a tough one for me because it's two women that they've had their paths to victory in the past in their previous fights, and they just don't really find a way to pull away or make you like come out of their fights with confidence. Like, I can't wait to bet them again. I can't wait to watch them again. Bottom line for me in this fight is I want to bet Joselyne Edwards. I do not think that Chelsea Chandler is a good fighter whatsoever. She is a big, lumbering, would you even call her a grappler? Or is she just like a cage grappler? She just stalls time. Her striking is non-existent. But Joselyne Edwards does everything that she can to lose a fight, in every single fight.
Truth.
And this is a situation that
right.
you love. It's what she does. It's like it's written on the wall. I'm going to do this and make it close. I look, she's got to stay on her feet. Is she going to stay on her feet? Hell no. No, she's going to end up on the ground. Joselyne Edwards will end up on the ground. I think the only way to play this fight is to take the over. I don't see either of these girls finishing a lunch, let alone another fighter. I just don't. And the other question with both of them is, are they even going to make weight? So to me, there's 9 million question marks in the first fight of the night. Why start it off on a loss? I will not be betting either side in this, but I am interested in this to be an ugly 3-round fight.
I describe Chelsea Chandler as a bull in a china shop. She's just she's big, tough, like grind against the fence, but there's just not a lot of polished moves that she'll show you. Everyone laughs at me when I say this, but she cannot get her uniform right. She can't get her fight gear right. I'm sorry. That's a real thing. And yeah, okay, she beat Stoliarenko, but loses to Damon and Yana Santos. I got to say, Yana Santos looked good. Of course, she comes from a chemical lab. Her and her husband. Make no mistake about it. So I don't know. What win are you hanging your hat on? This José Nunez was a surprise, but José Nunez has been exposed that any type of step up in UFC, she can't hang. Stoliarenko, not very good. I'm with you. It's Edwards or nothing, but at that price, Justin Edwards is so low volume. And this is why I agree that the over is the only way that you can play it. And not only do I think that's only playing this one, I think that needs to be a part of your arsenal this week. It's a parlay piece, it's juice, but who's finishing who? Like you said, it's, Edwards got the finish in the last fight, but Tobias Vidal gave up, just like literally quit. Both of them are tough. Both of them have good cardio. I'm with you. I think it's the only way to play it. Timmy Cuamba and Roberto Romero, kind of an odd fight here. Cuamba came from Contender Series. Roberto Romero, I believe he made his debut against David Onama, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it was on and it was pretty good. His showing was fine. He hung with David Onama. But how many times do we see these guys look pretty good in their first UFC fight and then they kind of fall off a cliff and don't look that good? Cuamba, I liked him on Contender Series. I bet him on Contender Series. I thought he looked pretty good, and then he just hasn't gotten it done in UFC. So, interesting fight. How do you see it happening?
Just clip the previous fight and replace the names of these two guys.
Okay. That's it. I love it.
It goes the distance.
Yeah.
It goes the distance. That's the way I'm playing it. If you look at Cuamba, anytime he's fought anybody UFC level or Contender Series level, it's gone the distance. It's pretty cut and dry there. All right. His opponent we have went the distance with David Onama. There you go. Take this fight to go the distance. Call it a day. I don't want to bet on either of these guys. I don't rate Timmy Cuamba very high. I think he's here for a short time, not a long time. He'll be here for a couple fights. He probably gets cut if he loses this, so maybe the motivation edge on his side. Romero really has nothing to lose, but is that going to be enough to finish Cuamba? I don't think so. I think these guys are going to be pretty evenly matched. Romero, Mexican heritage, impossible to knock out. We know this. Very, very tough. You got two tough guys. I think this is going to be a bloody, ugly fight. And I'll sit there with the ticket on Fight Goes the Distance. Call it a day.
I got you. Yeah, I have nothing more to add. Cuamba's just been a real disappointment. I thought he was going to be better in UFC. Now, his opponents were pretty, I don't know. They're not, those guys he lost to aren't going to fight for the title anytime soon, but they were decent. So I'm with you. Over is the only way that I'll look at this one. Here's a female fight I'm not taking an over on. Jacqueline Amorim and Polyana Viana. Break it down for us, Jim. What do you think?
Those damn books figured it out after the Barbosa fight.
Yeah, they did.
They figured it out. I was praying we were going to get plus money on an under 2.5 again. And nope. They learned their lesson.
They
learned their lesson with these aging female fighters. 13-7 with Polyana Viana. Not serious about her career. Going forward with women's MMA, I'm betting on the fighter that is serious about their career. And there's things that you can take away that they put out on social media, that they do with their body, that tells me if you're serious about being an MMA fighter, not an influencer, not a social media personality, an MMA fighter. Just to take a girl, for example, Jillian Robertson. Is Jillian Robertson opening up an OnlyFans? No. Is Yasmin Lucendo?
God, no.
Is she going to get Botox?
No.
She's got great lips already. Doesn't need them. Okay? Looks beautiful already. These are serious fighters. And I'm betting on fighters in the women's division. So we can piss and moan about social media, or we can make it work to our advantage. Amorim is more concerned about wins and losses. It's that simple. I think she has a big advantage on the ground. I'm not even going to talk about the glove grabbing and go into it. Shit happens in MMA, okay? But the bottom line before that is she was working Vanessa Demopoulos before the glove grab, okay? She was getting the fight where she wanted. The win over Corey McKenna, got Corey McKenna out of there. Love it. Love to see it. Montserrat Ruiz gets the finish there. The loss to Sam Hughes. We love Sam Hughes.
She got Sam Hughes.
She did. And that was also 2 years ago.
Yep.
So we expected to learn from that, and we did. Look, we learned from that. We got 3 wins in a row. I think Amorim rolls here. She can have this fight however she wants. If it gets to round 2 and she's starting to gas, she can control Viana. She'll just control them on the ground, but I do not think Polyana is going to make it to the final bell.
I was looking at there's a BetMGM. You can pick exact. You can pick exact method of victory. I was thinking about sprinkling Amorim by armbar and rear naked at some pretty spicy odds, because I'm with you. I think I joked with you when I first saw this fight. I was like, I think Amorim might actually leave the octagon holding Viana's arm with her as like a souvenir, because I think she rips it off. So yeah, that's how I play it. Amorim inside the distance is good. It's been steamed through the roof, but there's a reason. It's a great play, and Amorim should run. So I'm with you. Cameron Saaiman and Malcolm Wellmaker. Wellmaker undefeated, coming off a contender series. I got a strong opinion on this fight. What about you?
This is the ping pong line of the week, is it not? It's been bouncing all over the place.
Absolutely.
So I would say very hotly debated contest here.
Yeah.
People on the Wellmaker side are going to lean on the fact that he's got good punching power. He's 8-0. He's physically impressive. People on the Saaiman side are going to say, well, look who the guy's been fighting and having good accounts of himself.
Yeah.
I land on the Saaiman side.
Okay.
Not so much because of the trends, but just the diversity of strikes. Saaiman has a fantastic kicking game. He's good at playing range. I think Wellmaker is more the one shot to end it fighter. And look, he's fighting a guy who can take a shot. That was on full display in Cameron's last fight. It took a lot of shots from Talbot to get him out of here. On top of the fact Cameron came to the UFC at 22 years old. He's a baby. A baby.
Yeah, he's still 24.
Yeah, I can't remember the fighter who we spoke about a couple months back. It was the same thing where, like, listen, they're 26 now. Like, that is a massive jump from 22 to 26.
Yeah.
What your body learns, what your mind learns, your time in the gym, you can't even quantify the value of those years as an athlete, as a fighter. So I expect to see improvements from Cameron in this spot. I'm going with Cameron for the win. I think that Wellmaker continues the run of UFC debutantes falling victim to too much too soon.
I'm with you, and that's my strong opinion. I'm fading Wellmaker. He needs a lot of work, man. And one of the things, the early finish on Contender Series, it looks great on paper. Finally, it lasted 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We didn't get to see a lot of diversity from him. We didn't get to see, what he can do in the second round and in the third round. And sometimes I think that these quick finishes on Contender Series are not that great. For someone like, Wellmaker's fighting in these pretty lower level, things. Contender Series is kind of a UFC experience. Dana White's there, and you got the announcers, the judges, and his experience was over 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, and it looked great. But he's not going to be able to do that against Cameron Saaiman. He's just not. Saaiman got knocked out to Talbot. Great learning experience. Went the distance against Christian Rodriguez. Nothing to sniff at. But look what happens when he fights these lesser talented guys. He smokes Terrence Mitchell. This Mana Martinez fight was awesome to watch. I don't know what happened to Mana Martinez after that. He just fell off a cliff. But gets a finish against Steven Kozlow, and he gets the finish in round 3 on Contender Series. And this is when he's younger. This is, like you said, he's a baby. This is a fade the Contender Series debutante that I think needs polishing. We've been good about betting this. And even the best guys from Contender Series have shown big-time cracks. So when I get a Contender Series guy making a debut that I have questions about before he makes his UFC debut, I'm fading him. So it's Cameron Saaiman or nothing for me in this one. Malcolm Wellmaker, his strikes are okay, but he leaves himself open way, way too much, and Cameron Saaiman's going to be able to pop him. I think he's going to overextend. I think Wellmaker is going to make some big-time mistakes, and Saaiman will take advantage. So,
if I could make a quick discussion about this, I'm glad you brought this up. If you go to Malcolm's page, you see all these divisions that he's fighting in. And you see the time. When you're looking up fights, you have to take things from 3, 4, 5 years ago and throw them out. Just throw them out. It's not applicable to today. So you can go back and watch Malcolm's amateur fights where he's getting finishes and say, man, this guy's knocking people out with gloves on and headgear. Where's the guy he was fighting? Is he at the drive-thru at the Burger King? Like, you can't take anything away from these fights now. These are different human beings. Think about how much we grow in our own lives in 5, 6 years, 4 years, 3 years. Okay? We just spoke the other night about how much has changed in 3 years. Imagine what it's like for fighters.
Yes.
Right? Grow.
Yeah.
So just pump your brakes when you're doing your tape study, and you have to look at who these guys are matched up with. And I can guarantee you're not going to see a single person on Malcolm Wellmaker's record that can hold a candle to Cameron Saaiman.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's very well said. So I've nothing else to add. We'll move on to Damon, Blackshear, and Alateng. He's a big favorite. I'm not sure Blackshear should be that big of a favorite, but that being said, I'm not betting on Alateng, so maybe Blackshear should be that big of a favorite. I can't figure out where I stand on this fight. Where do you stand?
I stand that I'm not betting Damon Blackshear.
Yeah.
Like, period. The guy just fought.
It is kind of crazy. I mean,
just fought.
Yeah. Like a month ago.
Yeah. So we have another weight cut. And to be forthright, he didn't look great against Cody Gibson until it got to the ground. Like, look, Cody Gibson didn't look great either. Let's just throw that out there, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to hang my hat on that performance and say, man, this guy's a bet on. He's staying active. This is 2 weight cuts. 2 preparations in a real short amount of time, I think you are insane to make your whole week hinge on the success of Blackshear. I don't rate Alateng very high either, but we've seen Blackshear have mental gaffes in the cage. And when things don't go his way, he looks like a very different fighter. Would you agree? Like when he can lead the dance, he looks great. When he doesn't lead the dance and fights off his back foot, he looks like a totally different fighter. So if
Yeah.
he gets pressured early, I am worried about him. So no bet for me in this fight whatsoever. For the sake of the show to pick someone, I'll take the dog shot. Why not? I'm not betting it, but I'll pick the dog.
Yeah, if Blackshear can get this to the ground, he should have a really, really nice advantage on the ground. Alateng, certainly not known for his grappling and wrestling and, things like that. Blackshear's going to be bigger, but he's also going to be slower. That's my hang up is he's not that fast on the feet. Once he gets down on the ground, he's probably going to be bigger and stronger, but I think Alateng is going to move quite fast. I think he's going to circle around. I think he's going to be able to pop him with some jabs and do some leg kicks and everything. And if Blackshear doesn't get to the ground, now you're just asking for trouble when it goes to decision, when Blackshear doesn't throw, a whole lot of strikes that look great on the feet. So, but again, if he gets on the ground, could Blackshear submit him? Of course, absolutely. He doesn't get him on the ground. I think Alateng just pieces him up, and you're looking at a, 30, 27, 29, 28, 29, 28 scorecard with Alateng landing like double the amount of strikes that Blackshear does. So, yeah, that's a dangerous one. I'm guessing we're gonna go over this in Parlay Buster. Let's move on to Chris Gutierrez and John Castaneda. Do we just want to do this together, Jim?
Well, we've already spoke about this, right? And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. I don't
care who wins. I'm taking the over. It's a Chris Gutierrez fight. What else do we need to? What else do you need to know about?
We've
Chris
already
Gutierrez?
broke this fight down 9 million times.
I
don't even think they care about this fight at this point. They're like, can we just get this over with?
Yeah,
please. It's going to be a 15-minute sparring session.
Yeah.
What else you want me to say? Take a fight goes to this.
Chris Gutierrez is going to throw a leg kick. Then he's going to wait 20 seconds. Then he'll throw a jab that doesn't get there. It'll wait another 15 seconds. John Castaneda will shoot in with a half-assed kind of takedown attempt, but it ends up just being a clinch up against the cage. And before you know it, there's 2 minutes gone in the round, and we've seen 3 strikes. That's just, I mean, he went to the distance against Daniel Marcos, Kang, and Gafurov, and this fight's just gonna go. Gutierrez he just creates the distance so much that he just never gets close to being involved in a finish. So, all right, we'll move on to Evan Elder and Gage Young. Gage Young making. This is his UFC debut, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah, that's right. He lost on Contender Series, went and fought at FAC, gets the win in December. Kudos to him. I went back and watched this fight against Salkid. Salkid looked great. That was a really good performance for him. I didn't think Gage Young was really good, but I went back and watched it, and I came away going, Gage Young, there's something there. Wrestling, okay. Decent cardio, durable, always going to fight for your money. I just like Evan Elder quite a bit, man. I really, really like Evan Elder. Where do you stand on this one?
I think Gage Young's record is just, I don't want to go as far to say fraudulent because he does do some good things.
Yeah, this guy is not a terrible.
No,
this guy isn't like
he
didn't lose to a bum on Contender Series.
He lost to a great guy on Contender Series. But the guys
he's
that
fighting
he's
5-5 and 2-7.
I mean, you go down and do your tape study on him, and you watch some of these matchups, and I forget which one of these guys was that he fought, but he threw 2 leg kicks, and as soon as he landed the second leg kick, this guy wanted absolutely no part of fighting anymore. None. 0. I've just seen it over and over again in his tape study. He does great things against a poor level of competition. But when he steps up, that's when we get to see how good they are against people who know how to fight back. And Evan Elder knows how to fight back. Evan Elder knows how to fight through adversity. Evan Elder's had losses. Evan Elder's fought at the UFC level. We can go on and on and on. The experience advantage. I really like Elder in this spot. I was pretty shocked when the line came out. I thought we were going to get a minus 500 on Evan Elder, and there's a lot of respect for Gage Young in the market. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm going to roll with Evan Elder again. I think he wins this fight. I probably wins it by decision. Gage Young is tough and does have cardio. I think Elder has enough for him to squeak this fight out.
Yeah, listen, this loss against Nazim Sadikov, you got to understand. Evan Elder was winning.
Mm-hmm.
That he was up, and then he gets a cut and they stop it in the third round. Like, it was as unlucky as it gets. Like, normally when somebody gets a stoppage because of a cut, they're getting their ass kicked. Yeah. This was not that. So this should be 3 wins in a row. Now, is Valdez and Darius Flowers any good? No, but he did what he was supposed to do. He gets Darius Flowers out of there. Yeah, I think his striking's too much. His wrestling's fine. Gage Young is going to try and wrestle, and Evan Elder is going to be able to stuff it. And I think he just kind of pieces them up. And it's kind of, I mean, they're both 9-2, but it's a very different 9-2. Yeah, I love Elder in this one. And shout out to the UFC. I mean, they gave us a fight between an Elder and a Young. It's great. It's so great. We have the fade the old fighter theory, and we can literally bet on the Elder against the Young. So it's really, really.
I just noticed that just now.
You didn't notice that?
No, I did not even think putting that together. That's great.
Yeah, it's kind of. There was a few things in social media about how the Elder's fighting the Young.
Well, win one for the old heads, Evan.
Yes,
win one for the old heads.
Even though he's not old at all. We mentioned a 5% best bet. That is up right now, guys. And any of our UFC plays that we have, we'll go into that. Why should you invest in our 5% best bet? Well, because we've had 11 5% plays across all sports, and we've hit 10 of them in 2025. Had a lot of them in MMA. 12-3 MMA run. We're number 1 in profits. No, that does not include the PFL play that some of you will never let die. But listen, MMA has been huge.
Let's talk about a 2-0 night or a 2-1 night last week in PFL. Now
we did great. You did great,
if
Jim.
you stuck with us, you're very happy.
And one of them was a plus 170 hit. So yeah, PFL was doing great. MMA has been a big part of the portfolio this year. Like we talk about building bankrolls, and some sports have just been better than others. And MMA, I gotta be honest, man, it was tough. Some of those cards really, really tripped a lot of people up, but we did a really nice job navigating it. So 5% best bet that's up. It's over at Wager Talk. If you are interested in long-term, which we highly, highly recommend, our 30 days, 6 months, and 365 days are all 30% off. So if you're interested in 365 days, I completely understand. It's a big investment if you want to talk about it. I do phone calls with people all the time, willing to walk you through it because I get it. It's a big investment. $1,200, nothing to sneeze at. Now, is $1,200 investing in a business? Is that a big amount? No. No. Jim and I are entrepreneurs. Exactly right. So I would love it if $1,200 was a big expense at my production company. I would love it.
I just bought $2,000 worth of mats.
I just paid someone $700 to come fix the computer on our truck. So $1,200 for a year's worth of plays. This is a smoking deal. But if you want 30 days, I recommend starting with 30 days. Or if you just want one play, go ahead and grab that 5%. But either way, you should be on board with us for this week and probably long-term for MMA. It's going very, very well, and Jim is absolutely crushing in PFL. Absolutely crushing. He went 2-1, and the percentage of his hit rate went down. So that's how good it's going. So take advantage of that, wt.buzz/AL. All right, let's do the match now. Jimmy Flick fight. Here we go, Jim. You get to go first. What a fight.
I don't care who wins. Fight doesn't go the distance.
That's probably the best.
There you go.
Okay.
It's actually a playable number. Last I checked, I think it was minus 380. I think it's parlayable for sure. I don't see somebody surviving 15 minutes.
This run of unders on Matt Schnell is quite impressive. And you're like, wow.
Then what's frustrating is he's always doing good.
Yeah, and then it just
gets touched, and that's it. Now, luckily, he's fighting Jimmy Flick. I couldn't tell you the last time Jimmy Flick wobbled somebody on the feet. I
He
can't
doesn't.
remember.
He doesn't. I mean,
It just doesn't.
no.
He doesn't. This is two guys that retired and came back. Somebody's heart is not going to be in this. I don't know who it is. I would venture to say it's Jimmy Flick. I actually like Schnell from a skill set perspective. In this spot, his striking is light years better than Flick's. It really all just comes down to Matt Schnell's chin. I don't think that, I'm going to say it right now, I don't think Jimmy Flick can hurt Matt Schnell. I think he can wobble him. I don't think he's going to have enough to get him out of there. I really,
Okay.
really don't. And if that's the case, I think once that doesn't happen, you're going to see the will to fight kind of come out of Jimmy Flick.
Okay.
And a new lease on life for Matt Schnell in that fight. I think
A
this fight is
new
going to end with
lease
Matt
on
Schnell.
life. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
he needs a win.
He
You want to
does.
stay around. Both these guys, you need a win. I think Jimmy might, if he hurts him, he might go for it a little too much, give up a bad position, get clipped himself. And I think we're going to see at some point Matt Schnell on top of Jimmy Flick. And from that point, it's going to be however he wants it, submission or TKO. I like Schnell in the spot. I'll drink the Kool-Aid and bet on his chin holding up one more time here against somebody who I think is worse than him. I just have to.
Yeah, I mean this comes down to, does Matt Schnell get clipped and knocked out because his chin is pretty much gone. I mean, he gets hit on the chin and it's over. But
look at by who?
No, I know. I mean,
that's my big issue here.
Yeah. Nicolas Urseg. I mean, he was dead to the world against Sumadarji, who, by the way, was on a torn ACL. It turned out, and Royval. But these chokeouts that he gets, it's because he got knocked down.
Correct.
And they jumped on him. So, I love betting against Jimmy Flick. It's been one of the best. It's been one of the best things in my life. When he came back, I didn't bet him against Malcolm Gordon because it's Malcolm Gordon.
Because we don't bet on
yeah.
Malcolm Gordon, we stay
Listen,
away.
anytime I can bet against Jimmy Flick. He's got no striking. He tries to get it to go to the ground. And Matt Schnell's when Matt Schnell's not wobbled, he's fine on
he's
the
great
ground.
on the ground. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So if Matt Schnell's fighting someone who cannot punch, immediately I'm interested in Matt Schnell. And Jimmy Flick cannot strike. It just does happen. So it's Schnell for me, but you're right. Whoever wins, it's probably going to be by finish. It's either Schnell getting clipped and Flick jumps on him and submits him, or ground and pound, or Schnell just destroys him. Flick tries to go on the ground. Schnell jumps on top of him and grounds and pounds him, or even submits Flick. But I'm not betting on Jimmy Flick ever. This is not happening. No. I mean, Jimmy Flick retired, tried to do a new career. The new career didn't work. His woman left him. He was a walking country song. And then he decided, you know what? I'm going back to UFC. Like, imagine how bad things have gotten to where you're like, I would like to go get knocked out by Charles Johnson and Alessandro Costa, because that's better than what I've got going on right now. So shout out to Jimmy Flick. Hope better days are ahead, but this is a business, and I will be fading Jimmy Flick for the foreseeable future. Ikram, Aliskerov, and Andre Muniz. If you had to set the over-under for strikes landed from Andre Muniz, would it be double digits or single digits?
Damn good question.
The fact that you
it's
had to think about it,
the
fact that you had to even think about it says that. So, to me, this is a thank you. I call these thank you fights. Aliskerov did not have to take the fight against Robert Whittaker. He did. Look who he was supposed to fight before. This isn't fluffy Hernandez. Then Muniz, then Tricoli. And now, you're fighting Robert Whittaker. To me, this is UFC saying thank you, and please do us the favor and give us a reason to get rid of Andre Muniz. His win against Jung Yong Park was one of the most embarrassing fights I've ever seen. And the fact that the judges gave Muniz that fight, I thought was just terrible. Did Park do much? No, but Muniz took him down, laid on him, landed, 2 significant strikes. It's a guy that got...
I thought Park did more. I thought I'm very much confident that Park was going to get the decision, and it was a joke that they handed in that fight.
Yeah. So before that, I mean, listen, you got ground and pounded by Paul Craig, you got problems. Brendan Allen chokes him out. To me, this is Aliskerov and by finish. I don't think this fight's close. What do you think?
I think this is a smash spot for Aliskerov. Absolutely smash spot. If you look at Muniz's record, If I say the name Andre Muniz, the diehard fan goes to what? What's the first thing you think about?
Muniz.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Which fight should I say? Which fight? What's his signature win?
Oh, see, when you say Andre Muniz, I immediately think they got ground and pounded by Paul Craig, which is
So you go right to the negative.
Yes. Jim, he got ground and pounded by Paul Craig.
Don't sugarcoat it. Tell us how you really feel.
That's what I think about. And also, his win against Uriah Hall in Uriah Hall's retirement fight.
That's what I'm getting to. So it's Jacare Souza. Okay.
Okay.
He submitted Jacare Souza. Do we not remember how bad Jacare looked at that time? So look at his recent wins here. What's Jacare's record after he fought him?
Yeah, he did a boxing fight with Vitor Belfort, lost.
Oh, yeah, keep going down. Loses to
Oh,
Muniz,
my gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Beats Chris Weidman. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, he got smoked. So Jacare was on his way out. So he submitted
punches
and
during
broke
scramble.
the arm of Jacare.
I love the punches during scramble.
Yeah, right. That was a good one. So he's just, again, bad opponent. Uriah Hall, retirement fight, right? Uriah Hall cannot grapple at all.
Correct.
Just cannot do anything. He's taking boxing matches in his retirement. We have
shout out to him. He's getting paid. I'm happy
getting
for
paid.
him.
Go for it. I'm not hating on him, but this is who he fought in MMA. All right, a guy who is a pure kickboxer and could never wrestle, never do anything. This is a setup like you called it to a T. Thank you very much for fighting one of the best of all time on short notice. We appreciate your sacrifice. Now we want to get you back into the title contest. So we're setting you up with somebody that you can smoke inside of 2 rounds, and we can get you a big payday next fight. This is a thank you if I've ever seen it. This is a do me a favor.
Yep, absolutely. Aliskerov in the thank you fight. All right, Randy Brown and Nicolas Dalby. If you want a guy who looks like he should be the best at any sport that he chooses to play, and then is consistently like, you're just like, man, I just think he should be better. Then Randy Brown is your guy. I don't understand this guy. I don't get it. He just looks like he should be an absolute animal. The physical gifts that he has, that he's losing split decisions to Brian Battle up against the fence, and okay, congratulations, you beat Wellington Turman. You couldn't even finish him. Got knocked down and choked out by Jack Maddalena. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is with this guy. He just and 19-6. You're like, well, that's a damn good record. That's a damn good career. It is a good career. It is a good record. It just feel like his ceiling should just be way higher, man. It just feel like you should be terrified to fight Randy Brown. You'd be like, oh my God, they want me to fight Randy Brown? Damn, I'm in trouble. Instead, you're like, oh,
it should be like fighting Izzy in his prime.
Yeah.
It should be like fighting John in his prime.
Yes. Alex Pereira, when he's rested and full camp. Yeah. So, but they're doing what they do. They seem to always give him these beatable opponents. He gets 40-year-old Dalby, who's coming off a split decision against Renat Fakhretdinov. I don't know, Jim. Interesting fight. Brown's a big favorite. I get it. I want to bet against him, but I just can't do it with a 40-year-old Nicolas Dalby. Brown's the pick for me. What do you think?
So I will, in light of the NFL draft tonight and my Jets fans, I will give you a comparison. Randy Brown is the Vernon Golston of the
NFL. Wow.
There you go. Looks like an Adonis, plays like Jane. Literally a quote from Rex Ryan. That's what he said about the guy. So in light of the New York Jets ruining my night again this week, my draft night by drafting, I don't know, a punter at 7, he looks great. I'm going to go out on a limb here, though, and say that Randy Brown impresses in the spot. Dalby's 40. That chin is going to crack. I know he's tough. I know he's got cardio. But I don't think that he is going to be able to finish Randy in the 3rd. I think Dalby's going to take a lot of damage trying to get through the 1st round.
Okay.
And I just don't see a 40-year-old being able to do so. Renat, as good as he is, we've seen chinks in the armor,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
He gets
Yeah.
the win last time. On top of it, the bout against Aliskerov dos Santos, another 40-year-old, was canceled because Dalby got injured in training to the point where, look, English isn't his first language, but word for word in his interview said, I couldn't support my own weight.
Yeah, that's a
I don't
problem.
know what that means. Back, was it a knee? Was it your hip? Did you break a leg? Was it your foot? I don't know. But the fight was canceled for that reason. On top of that, he said he had a lot of personal things going on
Oh
at
wow.
that moment, and he was happy that that fight didn't happen. I think Randy Brown's going to be pretty freaking pissed about the Bryan Battle fight. And
Okay.
if I'm Randy Brown, this is always a dangerous thing to predict what Randy Brown's thinking. Um, I'm thinking I don't want this to go to the judges. I need to put work in on this guy in the first 2 rounds. So I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid on Randy Brown one last time here against Dalby, against a 40-year-old. And look, when they have Randy fight a 32-year-old, I'm going to bet against Randy. But if they
Yeah.
keep going on these 40-year-olds, I'm going to keep taking them.
Yeah. I realize I didn't really do a good job of going over fighting styles and stuff. Dalby's just a brawler and is kind of he likes to eat some punishment so he can wear you down, and then he'll get the takedowns and
Yep.
grapple up against the fence. It's not pretty. I mean, if you like slugfest, he'll get into a slugfest and they'll just be like, man, these guys are leaving it all out there.
Mhm.
But he's gonna have to really do some interesting work to get inside of Randy Brown's length. And Brown, he does know how to use that kick up the middle. That front kick will land. It'll keep him at distance, and those jabs are going to be there. So I think Brown pieces him up, and I just don't think Dalby's got it. I mean, it's it's kind of the Muhammad Ali, you know, let them wear themselves out by punching
Mm.
me, type of. But worked against Bonfim, who we predicted that.
Yep.
By the way, we were like, yeah, Bonfim's going to go way too hard too early.
Mhm.
And the second he started to fade, I remember we were like live betting Dalby big time.
We
Salikov
did
was
it against
cold.
Worley Alves
Yes,
as well. Same
absolutely.
thing. Yep.
Same
Mhm.
exact thing. So Brown is not, well, I will say this about Randy Brown. He's not going to be exhausted like those other guys that Dalby's beat. He's going to be fine. So Randy Brown's a pick. Michel Pereira and Abus Magomedov. I've heard Abus's nickname or name pronounced different on every broadcast. I think they change it every single time. What's your take on this fight?
Steady flow of money in on Abus all week. Well, I'm just trying to see where we're at right now. So he's down to plus 120. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't get it. I don't understand everybody's infatuation with this guy. I just don't. He gets the win against Stoltzfus in his debut, and everybody's ready to anoint him the championship. They give him a step up in competition. Granted, a huge step up.
I was going to say a little step up.
But he gets worn out.
To a champion.
Look who he fights, Worley Alves. Goes to decision. Looks horrible. Bruno Ferreira is a bad fighter, guys. He is a bad 12-1. That's crazy to say, but he's a bad 12-1. And we saw it on display there. Bruno's going to win certain types of fights. And Abush just decided, I'm going to wrestle the hell out of this guy because he's got no takedown defense. And he also, Bruno, doesn't have the athleticism to pop back up instantly and keep on fighting. It still took Abush work to hold this kid down.
Well, he
Michel
was rocked
Pereira.
in the second. I mean,
That's what I mean.
Bruno was teeing
It was
off
a
on him.
mess, man. It was a mess. Michel Pereira has athleticism for days.
Yeah.
For days. I think Abush tires himself out going for the wrestling here. I know. I'll let you talk about the Fluffy Hernandez thing, but Abush's wrestling is contingent on getting the takedown, not grappling against the cage. He is not built for an in close, multiple attempt takedown style. He's not going to link takedowns. He's not going to go for a single leg, turn it into a double against the cage, pull him down, climb the back. He's not. He's going to try to take you down with a basic wrestling attack in the center of the cage and hold you there. It's not going to work against the athleticism of Michel Pereira. That's it. I love Pereira in the spot. Take us away with Pereira versus Hernandez.
Yeah. So if Avis wants to wrestle, Michel Pereira just spent the entire fight stuffing takedowns from Anthony Hernandez, and by the way, did a good job of it. This is Fluffy Hernandez we're talking about here. This is Michel Pereira, who's known for having horrific takedown defense and everything. Pereira several times got taken down and got back up, tried to get his striking going, but Fluffy Hernandez is a title contender. Like
He gives you
he's
no room.
he suffocates you. And the fact that Pereira lasted until round 5 to me was impressive.
Yeah.
His cardio got much better. I thought it was, I mean, you want to talk about a step up in competition. Guy goes from fighting Petrosky, Mikey O, who wasn't at Fighting Nerds, ER Peteria, to fighting Fluffy.
Yeah.
I think UFC finally was like, you're not fighting Pons and Ibio and Fialo and Nico Price anymore. Like, you got to fight somebody good. So they fight Hernandez, and it was a loss, but I thought he showed us something. If he can stuff takedowns from Anthony Hernandez, he can absolutely stuff takedowns from Avis Magomedov. If he can get taken down by Fluffy and stand up against Fluffy, he can absolutely stand up against Avis. On the feet, Avis is chinny as hell. Bruno rocked him several times. And if you're looking at who's going to have the bigger aha, like wow moments, it's Pereira. He used to fight like a dope. This is a man that did a backflip to try and get in top position on a guy in the middle of a fight. He used to tire himself out by doing dumb stuff, and I just don't think he does it anymore. I think he's locked in, man. I've liked what I've seen from him the last few fights. I'm just not a believer in Avis. I don't think he can get the wrestling done. And yeah, so you got a guy with a bad chin, with bad cardio. And you're right, man. Like, he comes in and he just blows through Stoltzfus. But we haven't seen anything remotely close to that. He rocked Strickland early and then was dead to the world. Sean Strickland even
like at the end of round 1.
Yeah, at the end of round 1. And Sean Strickland even said, I don't punch that hard to knock people out. So he knocks him out. And then Barallo, makes mincemeat of him. And then Warley Alves, God, that fight was that setback striking MMA, 20 years, because both these guys are supposed to be strikers and Avis lays on them. And yeah, Pereira, you're right. He's a bonehead on the ground, like on the feet. Yeah, he can rock you, but he did it against Avis. But in this one, I just don't see where the advantage is from Avis. Avis can be dangerous for the first 2 or 3 minutes, and after that, I just don't see it. I think Michel, how old is Pereira here?
32, 31?
Feels like he's been in our lives for 17 years.
I don't trust that age. Not one bit.
Fair. Okay.
Look at the amount of fights he has.
I know he's
got 43 fights at 31 years old. Something's not adding up here.
I mean, he did fight a lot in those years, but I get it.
He was fighting when I got out of college. Come on, man.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Hey, what? Let's not rule out Michel Pereira wrestling either.
Yeah, I think Pereira is going to see him start to get tired on the feet, and I think he's going, I'm keeping this thing on the feet. I'm knocking this dude out, because once he doesn't have that KO power, I think Abbas is.
I would not be surprised to see
popped.
Pereira on top of Abbas when he's tired.
Moving on to Giga Chikadze against David Onama. What's your take on this fight?
I don't know what to do with this one. I mean,
Okay.
Are we buying into David Onama? Because I'm not.
It's 13-2, but this is kind of like the Randy Brown thing. You're going 13-2. You're like, They barely beat Roberto Romero. You struggled against Roberto Romero. Jonathan, you went to decision against Pierce, who was cut. Okay, knock out Santos, but then of course the legendary Nate Landwehr.
Can't put Nate the train out.
Nope. Finishing Gabriel Benitez and Garrett Armfield. I don't know. I'm with you that I don't know what to make of David Onama.
He's
Onama the enigma.
He's losing by decision. That's how he loses.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that he's going to be able to hit Giga?
No chance.
Who's seen all the striking in the world, clean enough to knock Giga out? It's going to take one hell of a shot. It's going to take one hell of a shot. Could he do it? For sure. What are we getting from Giga at this point in his career?
Brutal kicking, good distance control. Just not. It's just not that elite knockout, terrifying, level. Especially when the Calvin Kattar, he was winning until he made one dumb move, slipped and fell, and Kattar rocked him, and then Kattar took over. I don't know, man. Losing to and this is Calvin Kattar pre-injury
ACL,
when when Kattar was like, "Oh, this guy's going to fight for a title," and then losing to Arnold Allen. But you can tell me Onama's on that level.
I think Arnold Allen mops the floor with Onama.
Oh, absolutely,
mops the floor with him.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to buy into. Do I buy into the veteran or David Onama here? I think this fight goes the distance. I think there'll be some scary moments.
Giga's going the distance these days. Yeah.
Like once Giga figures out that he can control the distance and he sees everything coming from Onama, and again, we've seen Onama lose decisions when he can't get the finish. By round 2, I think Giga's going to have seen everything he needs to see. If he can get to round 2, even if he loses round 1, I wouldn't be shocked to see Giga win the next 2 and we go to a split. But I think this fight to go to the distance, I'm pretty high on that. I think we see a clinical striking match here between both guys.
Okay. All right. I like Giga a lot in this one. That distance and those kicks, Onama, I don't think he's going to be able to get through. I don't think he's going to be able to get in close to do his damage. If he does, great. But like I said, man, just seen him struggle. I was worried with him after that Nate Landwehr fight. I was worried about both of them, what they put their bodies through. You could also make the case what one of the trainers made him put this body through, because he may or may have had money on the fight. Openly did, but.
He shall not be naked.
It's just so wild that whole thing happened for so long.
I've made some bonehead business decisions in my life, but it's nowhere near James Krause's.
I mean, listen, we're all looking for an advantage, but Jesus Christ, that's taking it. No, you're fine. Go out there. We got the over. Go out there. I'm dead. Go out there. All right.
Fine.
So, I mean, he won 3 in a row after that, and I was like, man, I'm worried about Onama and Landwehr. And they both seem like they've recovered okay since then. Like, we've seen some of these wars where it's like, oh, that guy was never the same after that. But I don't know. Gabriel Santos and Jonathan Pierce and Roberto Romero, this just feels like a sneaky, pretty big step up in competition. Like I said, I'm not – am I really going to say, well, Giga's lost 2 out of 3, but it's the prime Calvin Kattar and Arnold Allen. I wish Giga would fight a little bit more. Now, in his defense, he did try and, fight a couple guys. But I have Giga. I think the kicks work. I think Onama struggles to break through those kicks. And I think Giga can land some pretty good leg and body kicks to slow Onama down. And then if Onama can't, I don't know. What is Onama great at?
He's got punching power. That's what
okay. That's going to be
what he's great at.
Yeah, and Giga's, like you said, seen it all. Been there, done that. Like, you're not going to – David Onama's not going to show Giga anything that Giga hasn't seen before. So, I think it's Giga. I like him in this one. All right, Anthony Smith and Ming Zhang. This is one of our favorite theories of all time. We've got the fade the baby theory, which is, tried and true. We have the fade the old fighter theory. We've got the fade the OnlyFans theory. But, man, fade the retiring fighter theory has been around for a long, long time. This is Anthony Smith's retirement fight, and what do? They give him a guy who just goes out and nukes dudes in the first round. Yeah, I mean, listen, Ozzy Diaz, Brenson Ribeiro, Tuco. It's not exactly a murder's row of fighters there, but he's one of these guys, Jim. You were talking about the age earlier. Like, this guy's 26 and has been fighting for a ton of fights and fighting for a long time. This guy's 26. His first professional fight was 2014. This guy was a teenager, going out in the fight. So, I don't think they did him any favors, but I know his backstory, and it's kind of captivating and pretty interesting here. But I feel like he, the road to UFC, was in June of 2022. He doesn't get his first fight till 2024. But physically, he just looked like he got into his prime. He looks a little bit better. And, I mean, what are we getting from Anthony Smith at this point in his career? What are we getting? We picked him to beat Vitor Petrino because Vitor Petrino, A, has no volume and likes to stick his neck where it doesn't belong, and it happened. But other than that, he's looked terrible. Reyes knocked him out in that tragic fight. I think this is a celebration of Anthony Smith's career. I think he gets knocked out, and I think he has a really nice career as an analyst moving forward. That's my take. What do you think?
I'll start this out so that everybody doesn't get mad at us. Thank you, Anthony Smith. We appreciate everything that you've done.
Absolutely, man.
Okay.
We love Anthony Smith.
That being said, this is what the UFC does. I've heard the argument, well, Anthony Smith could submit him. I don't know. Can Anthony Smith get it to the ground? When's the last time you saw Smith get a takedown? How did he get the sub on Petrino?
Yeah, Petrino stuck his neck in there. It wasn't like Anthony Smith had this really nice takedown, arrest. Oh, worked it. No, it was a stupid move from Petrino. That's all.
What it comes down to with older fighters is, believe it or not, one of the first things physically to go is your back. Okay, your back just takes a beating in this career. And it's very hard to drop down for a single leg or a blast double or anything. You can run the pipe. You're not hitting a switch at 40 years old, lightning fast. It's just not going to happen. So I don't think he can get it to the ground. It's going to take Ming getting him to the ground to open the door up for Smith to lock up a submission. We've also seen Anthony be an emotional mess, and for what he has gone through, I don't fault him for that one bit. He had absolutely no business being in the cage.
Yeah,
a couple
that
days
was
after
terrible.
his coach and friend dies.
It's
Like,
terrible.
I understand being professional, but that's a moment where
It's okay.
the organization
It's okay.
could have said, we'll
Yeah.
find somebody else. We'll get you a fight in a couple months. Go handle your shit.
Yeah.
Right? So that was just bad to see. We've seen him against Teixeira. We've seen him yelling at people, PTSD from it. He's just a very emotional guy. And in this moment, I don't see how he's not going to be emotional in that cage. And I think we're going to see it on the walkout and go, oh no.
Yeah.
And I hope it's quick and it's not too bad. It's
Yeah,
messed
you don't
up
wanna-
to say in an MMA fight that you're like, I hope you get finished quickly because I don't want to see it get bad.
I don't want to see him a bloody, beat up mess. I want to see him get hit on the chin and knocked out, and then that's it.
No, the Teixeira fight was all I need in my life of watching Anthony Smith just take a pounding. That was extremely unnecessary. I don't need to see it again. Good luck in your career right off into the sunset. It's Ming Zhang, probably under 1.5. I don't think it gets out of the first round, to be honest with you. I don't.
Anthony Smith, one of my favorite stories in all of MMA, when someone broke into the house. Oops. I broke into the house of Anthony Smith.
Dude, it's wild. Like, the guy broke into his house, but Anthony Smith, 205-pound MMA fighter, could not stop the guy from coming, and just shows you what you can train all you want, but when somebody's on meth.
Yeah. I mean,
have a shovel.
The guy is, of all the MMA fighters to break it, he probably picked the best one because Anthony Smith could have ripped the guy's head off, no problem. So, wild times. All right, we got the main event. Then we're going to do the Parlay Buster and the Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. Just a reminder, we're going to do the Method of Victory show tomorrow on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. That's Friday. And 5% best bet is up. Don't forget to take advantage of that. But let's do it, Jim. Ian Garry versus our boy, Carlos Prates. Ian Garry, 15-1, with his loss being to Shavkat.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to hold that against him or not? What's your take on
No,
this fight?
I don't hold that fight against either guy.
Okay.
That was also two training partners fighting each other.
Yep.
Let's keep that in mind.
Yep.
Everybody. We know how that goes. At the beginning, I was like, this is the spot. This is the time to step in front of Prates. And Garry is criminally underrated. He's smart. He does what he has to do. And gosh darn it, I heard an interview with Kyle Barallo.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And I just, God, these guys are so smart in the game. It is unbelievable what they look at and what they brought in an analyst to go over footwork. The analyst is noticing things that no fighters are looking for they can't find as far as patterns and when to attack and timing and distance and on and on and on and on. Now, Garry's got a lot of holes. Do we really think that Kyle Barallo and their team have not found them?
No, they know every single one of them.
If
They know
we
every
know them,
single
they
one
know
of
every one, and they know ones we don't even know,
them. Yes.
right? They know ones we don't even know. I'm on Prates, man. I think from what I heard in the interview, and I know it's Kaio and it's his training partner, but he's very real with his interview. He's not going to throw fluff, okay? And there's just something about Carlos going into this fight. I know the Fighting Nerds, 19-0, blah, 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 but it's about this matchup. And would you say that Garry hasn't fought anybody with the punching power of Prates?
Yeah, Shavkat's not a, he doesn't
Not a
have
one-shot
that
knockout
one
guy.
shot. Michael Page, no, he fights with that weird,
Mhm.
stuff. Jeff Neal,
Nope.
no. Neil Magny, of course not. Daniel Wright, no.
Hardest hitter he probably fought is Song.
Song rocked him. Gabe Green rocked him.
Mm-hmm.
But
Now,
yeah.
if Carlos Prates hits him with those same shots, Ian Garry's going to sleep. I don't care who you are, okay? I just think they're going to have something for Ian Garry here. They're letting on that Prates' ground game is not nearly as bad as everybody thinks it is. So if you're going to take away the wrestling advantage that we think Garry has, and this ends up being kickboxing over 5 rounds at a pace that Carlos can fight, I'm taking the plus money on Carlos Prates.
I think that's the way to play it. Yeah, Garry, he can get hit, man. He gets rocked in these fights. Shavkat rocked him. Jeff Neal, that was a split decision. I thought Garry won pretty easily, but it was still split. One judge changes one round, and all of a sudden it's 2 losses. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Song rocked him. Gabe Green knocked him out. Is he better? Yeah, of course. I'm with you, man. We were
both liking Garry last week, weren't we?
We were both. Well, we saw the matchup, and then honestly, here's another reason why I like Prates. Like, we love Gene Silva over Bryce Mitchell. We were like, it just feels like the Fighting Nerds know something.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did they know something, they made it look laughable.
Yeah.
Gene's, you know what they noticed? They were like, screw Bryce Mitchell and his wrestling and submissions. We'll show you submissions. Like, that's the Fighting Nerds difference. Like, who does that? Nobody does that. When these guys want a fight and are excited about a fight, you got to be like, oh my God, what do they know? Jesus. I'm with you on Prates that I think it's a play, because here's the other thing. If there's a knockout, who's getting knocked out? It's Garry. Gary's not knocking out Prates with one-shot power. No way. The 5 rounds is the only thing that makes me worried. That's the only thing that makes me worried. I haven't seen Prates, do 5 rounds. I've seen Gary's cardio is perfectly fine. He's going to be good. I think if you're playing Prates, I wouldn't. I think if you play Prates, I think you got to play him by KO or finish, because I would be terrified if you told me this fight goes 5 rounds. I would go, wow, I think Garry wins it then, because I think Garry, if it does go 5 rounds, I think Gary's going to win the last couple rounds, unless he's pretty damaged up and unless Prates' cardio is like way better than we think. And I agree that, like, here's the thing, like, people worried about Prates' like wrestling and take that. It's not like Gary's known for his amazing wrestling and takedown. Like, oh my God, you got to stay away from the wrestling of Garry. Like, give me a break. So on the feet, Prates has the much, much, much bigger power advantage. I just think it only takes one to get to Garry. And as good as Garry has looked and as improved as he is, I'm just not betting against Carlo Prates and the Fighting Nerds. It's not a winning long term. Betting against the Fighting Nerds is a losing proposition. So it's Prates or nothing.
There's somebody out there that's been betting against the Fighting Nerds for the past 5 fights and be like, this is the time.
Well,
it's the next one.
Well, shout out to Chris Farley. If they've been doing that, they've been living in a van down by the river because they don't have any money. So, all right.
I think you bring up a good point. You play Carlos by finish, and you watch this fight, and if it goes to 3,
Yeah, and if
I
it
think
looks
you
like
take
Prates,
something on Garry
yeah,
if
Prates
you
has
can at
legendary
plus money, and then
smoker.
you're counting
Yeah,
your money.
yeah, he's legendary smoker. I don't know. Is it going to catch up to him at some point? Probably. But all right, let's do parlay buster and woulda, coulda, shoulda. The parlay buster is very simple. It's a bet that we think a lot of people are going to make. So I don't want to just like pick something that nobody's going to bet. So it's a fight. It's a bet that we think a lot of people are going to make, and we're here to just warn you just a little bit. So I'll let you go first. Are you going with Blackshear as your
I
parlay
have to.
bust? Yeah,
I have to
Blackshear.
go
Okay,
Blackshear.
I think that's pretty solid. My parlay buster. I agree with it. Yeah, I agree with it, and I really can't find anything else. So I'll just piggyback off you and just take the Blackshear.
I think that's the best one.
That's the one that
That's the best
terrifies me the most. So, all right, woulda, coulda, shoulda. There's a lot of nominees on this card. Woulda, coulda, shoulda is the one where at the end of the night we're going, man, why didn't we lay the farm on that one? Which one are we going to regret not betting more on?
I'm gonna take Michel Pereira.
Okay.
Again, this is a boost guy. I think he's just a fraud, man. I think he's just a fraud. I think we're not going to see a whole lot of improvements from him. Not that we need to see them from Pereira, but the experience of going 5 rounds with Fluffy in a fight where the striking is equal and Abusa's last wins were contingent on wrestling, I can't ignore it. I think Pereira is going to finish this guy late second, early third. I think he's going to be exhausted from trying to take him down.
Okay. All right. Man, I mean, there's a lot of nominees. I think woulda, coulda, shoulda. We may regret Cameron Saaiman betting against the debutante. I think we may regret not betting Evan Elder against again the debutante.
Mhm.
I think we're gonna sit there and go, why? Why didn't we fade Jimmy Flick? How do
I
we
knew you
not
were going
fade
there. I knew it.
Jimmy Flick? Since he came back, his only wins against Malcolm Gordon. With all
Yep.
due respect, Matt Schnell is not Malcolm Gordon. All Schnell has to do is not get knocked out, and I think we're sitting there going, woulda, coulda, shoulda on Matt Schnell. So,
I knew
all
you
right,
were
guys.
going there. You can't resist. You can't help yourself in a Jimmy Flick fight. It's great.
No. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Really appreciate everyone that subscribes to the channel. Don't forget to join the Discord if you have not already. I don't know what you're doing. A lot of great free plays and everything in there. So thanks very much. We will be live on Saturday for Takedown Live. If you want to watch the fights with us, and a lot of good live betting. Live betting, really done
Big
very
weekend
well
for that.
Yeah.
Big
Live
weekend
bets
for that.
have been a nice addition to the bankroll. So good luck on your plays, and we'll see everyone later.
See you guys later.